Every epoch has a few artists who define what the time and place were. Shakespeare is Elizabethan England. Michelangelo is the Italian Renaissance. And for many people, Brassai is 20th century Paris. His photos record more than reality. They touch the soul of the city, its moods, its tones, its eccentricities, and its ways of seducing the world into loving it. A new biography explores Brassai's achievements as an émigré Hungarian artist who refused to set limits on his photography. Author Diane Poirier shares with Canape what she discovered by looking at the works and talking to those who knew him.
Cette biographie de Brassai, je l'ai réalisée avec la collaboration de Gilberte Brassai, l'épouse de Brassai, auprès duquel j'ai travaillé pendant 5 ans. Et donc, il m'a livré tous ses souvenirs. Et en plus, j'ai eu accès à toutes les lettres, toutes les archives de Brassai et toutes les photos, dont beaucoup sont inédites et que j'ai reproduit d'ailleurs dans ce livre. Et donc, c'est un travail qui montre une autre facette de Brassai. Brassai est venu à Paris, il ne pensait pas du tout faire de la photographie. Il est arrivé en 1924. Parce que pour lui, c'était la ville des lettres et il voulait écrire ou devenir artiste peintre. Et en fait, les circonstances ont fait que Paris ne l'a pas inspiré pour la peinture. Ce qui fascine Brassai à Paris, c'est la vie un peu underground, disons. Toutes ces boîtes un peu louches, des homosexuels, de la prostitution. Mais d'un autre côté, il est aussi fasciné par le grand monde. Dès qu'il a eu la photographie comme moyen, il s'est dit, voilà, c'est le moyen par lequel je vais traduire cette passion de Paris. Mais cette photo de la Tour Eiffel avec ce couple devant, c'est un peu une photo, c'est l'image de Paris, parce que Brassai a été fasciné aussi par tous les couples d'amoureux qu'on peut voir dans Paris. Et il a très souvent photographié des couples. Alors est-ce que c'était une envie pour lui d'être en couple ou bien son intérêt pour les rapports amoureux, je ne sais pas. Toujours est-il que cette photo avec à la fois la Tour Eiffel qui symbolise Paris et puis ce couple d'amoureux, c'est vraiment tout l'univers de Brassai rassemblé en une photo. Au début où il a pratiqué la photo, il recevait des commandes pour des magazines et un magazine de l'entre-deux-guerres qui s'appelait Détective, qui faisait des romans policiers à feuilleton. Et donc Brassai faisait comme des couvertures de livres pour des romans policiers. Il faisait une mise en scène et d'ailleurs c'est très filmique. Et je pense sa photo a pas mal influencé les réalisateurs de cinéma français de l'entre-deux-guerres. D'ailleurs, Marcel Carné reconnaissait qu'il avait été très influencé par le premier livre Paris de nuit de Brassai. Oui, Brassai était un conteur né, il aimait raconter, il aimait écrire, c'était aussi un travailleur incroyable parce qu'il devait très peu dormir, parce qu'il photographiait, il écrivait, il dessinait. Cette photo des chaises au Luxembourg sous la neige est complètement inédite et j'ai découvert donc, dans les archives personnelles de Gilberte Brassai toute une série de photos que Brassai avait fait un matin où il y a eu de la neige. À Paris, il s'est précipité et il a fait toutes ces photos sous la neige. Et donc j'ai choisi celle-ci qui me paraît très belle parce que c'est vraiment la chaise typique du jardin parisien. Et donc cette photo, elle est quand même assez tardive dans l'œuvre de Brassai, 1953. Et je trouve que c'est passionnant de voir qu'il avait encore une telle créativité, un tel œil. Brassai a eu le coup de foudre pour la Côte d'Azur en 1932 et il était très intéressé aussi par l'aspect sensuel que peuvent offrir les plages, photographier les baigneurs et aussi une certaine tendresse pour les enfants comme sur cette photo. Et là déjà on voit l'œil du sculpteur, je trouve. Brassai était un artiste multiple. Et d'ailleurs, on l'a traité de touche-à-tout. Et c'était un terme qu'il ne réfutait pas parce qu'il trouvait que c'était idiot de se spécialiser. Et la diversité donne une richesse à l'œuvre. Ses sculptures, ses peintures et surtout ses écrits sont passionnants.
Once upon a time, in a land without DVDs and cable television in dormitories, students hiked across campus for screenings of films from around the world run by film societies. And of course, anybody with any sense camped out for the Renoir or Truffaut retrospectives. Times change. Students may now swap pictures from cell phone to cell phone. But French films are still on campus thanks to the Tournée Festival project. Xavier Merlin from the Centre National de la Cinématographie tells Canape about this decade-old success story.
The program Tournée was created 10 years ago on a private and public initiative mixed US and France, and the objective is to provide mainly US students to have an opportunity to discover French movies in their university through festivals. And the Tournée program provides these universities with subsidies and grants to acquire the rights to broadcast these movies and to see them in universities. The French government is very committed to promoting cultural diversity, which is not only a motto, which is also something very concrete, and notably in cinema. For us, that means trying to provide many people abroad to have the opportunity to discover French movies, either on a commercial basis or through cultural diffusion. The initiative that was taken by Tournée 10 years ago was to try to go through universities to have young public trying to discover new recent French movies, and maybe later on when they see an advertising for a French movie, maybe they'll be curious about it and maybe they'll be eager to discover it, which they wouldn't have done otherwise. So for the Tournée program, I think that the key people are the teachers, because they are the ones who go through the catalogs that is published every year with a selection of movies, and they are the people who decide to organize festivals in the universities in the US. And I think we should be very grateful to them because they are doing a great job, and that's without them the program wouldn't just work and wouldn't happen. So for 10 years more than 200,000 students have had this opportunity to see French movies in their universities. That's more than 230 movies, I think. So that's really a tremendous result for us, and we are hoping to be there for the next 10 years.
It all began as moonlighting in the late 1980s. Laurent Garnier was working at the French Embassy in London. Apparently it wasn't a thrilling gig. He began DJing in the lively club scene in Manchester. In the past 15 years, his work has expanded to include producing and globetrotting to find new mixes for the song list. He's now considered one of the most creative and influential artists on the international dance club scene. Canape samples his recent work, The Cloud-Making Machine.
I control the house. So, hello? Hello?
What do Algeria, Haiti, Quebec, Morocco, and Senegal have in common? One answer, of course, is a French colonial past. The French language continues to infuse their cultures. Much less obvious is the fact that they all produce movies about their past and their present. While you may not find these films at the multiplex, you can see them at the 13th Annual African Diaspora Film Festival in New York. Co-founder of the Celebration of Black Cinemas, Diarra Ndosbeck, gives Canape an overview of what's on screen.
This festival was established in 1993 and has run now for 13 years. And it is a 17-day event during which we present a global experience, the Black global experience. We present a large diversity of films from all over the world that focus on Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, but with films that present the experience of people of African descent all over the world. People who see the film, when they come and attend a lot of the screenings, they actually get a chance to really travel, to get exposed to new ideas, new concepts. The films that we select do not present a stereotypical image of people of African descent. It shows all of the human dimensions that people of African descent experience on a daily basis, and that's therefore an opportunity for people to really learn about who we are as a group. We have this year an interesting initiative, I think, which is a focus on multiracial Quebec. On the Verge of a Fever is a film in the multiracial Quebec program that is set in Haiti during the Duvalier time. It's based on a book written by Daniel Laferrière, who is a pretty well-known writer from Haiti that's based now in Quebec. It's the story of a coming of age of a young gentleman who lives across the street from a house that is a place of meeting of beautiful young ladies. And basically, the segment that I have selected is when he basically shows how interested he is by these neighbors across the street.
Ma mère ne les aime pas, mais moi, elles me font mourir. Mickey, c'est la princesse de mes rêves. Choupette. Elle a les fesses si dures qu'on a l'impression qu'elle va bondir comme une tigresse.
We have this year Maasai. It is a French production. It's a beautiful film, big production that was very successful in France, that is set in Kenya. And it's based on almost like a fairy tale. It's the story of a young group of Maasai warriors that are selected to go fight the lion god in order to bring back water to the village. And so it is a story of friendship, of courage, and the segment really, I think, demonstrates how beautiful the film really is. Dunya is an interesting film from Egypt about a young woman who wants to become a belly dancer. And she's also a student in philosophy and poetry. So this film presents an exploration of the sensuality and self-expression of women in Egypt, which is a Muslim society. So it shows an aspect of the society that is very not often exposed at all.
أنا كنت عايزة أدخل الكار. كار؟ ينفع تعلميني؟ أنا؟ بقى أنا يجي عليا يوم وأعلم بنت الوسط أسمة؟ دبسوها يا بنات! تعالى يا قمر. إيه الجمال ده؟ إيه الجمال ده؟ صلاة النبي عليك.
البنات ده عايزه تخلي شويه ولا بطن ولا صدر ولا اي حاجه خالص.
جميل عليا.
ايه؟ فين هو؟
الله زي العسل. الله
خالص ما فيهاش.
The African Diaspora Film Festival presents films that usually don't get shown a lot. It really gives a voice to the voiceless. We show classic films, urban films, independent films, foreign films, films from major film festivals, filmed by local independent filmmakers. It's a very eclectic mix. It's very rich. We have panel discussions, we have guest filmmakers, and we always have a great lineup and great reviews.
In the Caribbean, small islands can offer big surprises. In fall 2005, Martinique decided to share with New York a surprising day of its music, its arts, and its friendly neighbors. At B.B. King's Club in Manhattan, the sounds of the French and Creole-speaking Atlantic world sets hips swaying and feet moving. The popular musical style zouk is unique because it attracts artists who choose to sing in French, Creole, English, or, why not, all three. Singer Jeff Joseph from Dominica tells Canape about the music he loves.
Well, actually, I'm here to represent Dominica as a part of the Martinique Days Festival. And I'm invited by the Martinique Days Festival to represent Dominica, which is an island between Martinique and Guadeloupe. So I'm going to be performing some songs of my repertoire.
Yeah, Caribbean we control. Creole time, fiesta time. Come on everybody, dance with me, okay? Move it now, yeah man. Don't tell nobody so, don't tell nobody. People come to let me know what's gonna happen to me. Baby, come and set me free.
Dominica is an island where we speak English, but we have the French influence from Martinique and Guadeloupe because we're enclosed between Guadeloupe and Martinique. We speak Creole and we speak a little French. So you have all these influences into the music that we play. So it's a whole bass influence music from the Caribbean. And Gramax music is like Caribbean-based music where we play reggae, we play merengue, we play soca, we play calypso, we play zouk. So it's a mixture of, like we say, of Caribbean music, Caribbean rock really. So the music that we play represents, as you say, all aspects of Caribbean life and Caribbean music and Caribbean culture.
Yeah man, dance all night with me. Big up to the islands, big up to the DJ, big up for the party. So hit it up, Mr. Selector, everybody sing. We're gonna have some fun tonight, dancing till the morning light. No need to be uptight, get this party started right. We're gonna have some fun tonight, dancing till the morning light. No need to be uptight, get this party started right.
And we've been playing all the festivals all over the world, all over the Caribbean. We played St. Lucia Jazz, we played Dominica World Creole Music Festival. Last year we did the opening of the Martinique Fort de France Festival, and we're getting ready probably next year to go to Belém in Brazil to do other festivals all over the place. So it's like, you know, it's like something that the people want. And, you know, as we say, the word of the people is the word of God, or the word of Jah. So everybody wants it, you have to give it to them.
Praise Jah to set you free. Caribbean Fiesta. The West Indies Fiesta. Oh, the Sunshine Fiesta. Chico and Papo Fiesta.
My energy comes from Jah. You know, Jah give me the energy, like God give me the energy. And it's also from the music, because the music that we play is like energetic music with a lot of life, with a lot of rhythms. And my real excitement is when I'm on stage, really. You know, I like to get in contact with the public, with the people. so that you can see the people feel the rhythm, they feel the beat, and they get involved with you. When you're on stage, like it's a communion, and you can transmit some message to them. They can see, well, you know, you can, because you know you have so many problems in the world today. When the people come to your show, you can make them laugh, you can make them jump, you can make them enjoy themselves, raise their hands, and you know, party time.
Caribbean Fiesta. Oh yeah, you are sitting this fiesta. The Sunshine Fiesta. Oh, tell everybody so. You come and you go. People come to set you free, so they can guide thee.
In late spring 1976, a young American journalist in France went to an obscure wine tasting looking for a little story with an American side. What he got was a big story about a new American revolution. This was the Great Wine Revolution. At that tasting, 2 California wines took the top prizes. It was the equivalent of a cultural earthquake. How did it happen? How could it have happened? And what has it meant? The journalist from that tasting, George Tabor, talks to Canape about his book with the answers.
The Judgment of Paris is a book about the 1976 Paris tasting, as it's called in the wine industry, which was a comparative tasting, blind tasting. The judges were all French, 9 of the most eminent people in the French wine industry. The wines were Chardonnay on the one hand and Cabernet on the other. And in both the white competition and the red competition, a California wine won. And it is considered to be a revolutionary event that really changed the wine history. Well, the 2 people that were behind the tasting, one was an Englishman who had a wine shop and a wine school in Paris, already a little bit unusual. And he had an American who was working for him. And they came up with this idea of having a tasting of California wines in Paris because they were hearing a lot about them, and they thought it would be interesting and fun for the French to be exposed to them. And so they came up with the idea. The bicentennial was taking place, or about to take place, and they thought it would be good, you know, after all, Lafayette and all that for the American Revolution, to have a tasting of California wines in Paris. Well, there was a conventional wisdom for literally 1,000 years, if not more than 1,000 years, that only in France did all the criteria come together to make great wine. Sure, you could make wine in Italy or Portugal or Spain, but it was only in France where you had the, as the French call it, the terroir, the ground, the qualities of the earth. You had the right amount of sunshine, the direction of the, you had the technical expertise as well, very important. You had, you know, France, because of its wine history, has great technical expertise in making wine. So it was only in France that you had the really outstanding wines. The results of the Paris tasting for global wine was to raise the horizons, broaden the horizons of winemakers around the world. Because up to then, the attitude was only France made great wines. We could make Blanc, you know, regular vin ordinaire, but nothing really outstanding. But after Paris, winemakers around the world suddenly said, look, if the Californians can do it, maybe we can do it as well in Chile and South Africa and Australia and also in other European countries, Italy. The Italian wine industry has improved greatly since the Paris wine tasting. Again, I think pushed on by this idea that you can make great wines outside France. I think the most important thing about the 2 wines that won was that they reflected what had happened in California wines in the 60s and 70s. When California wine really came back from being, you know, flat on its back. The California wine industry was killed in particular by Prohibition. 14 years of Prohibition between 1919 and 1933 just killed the industry because wine technology died, the American wine habits changed, people weren't drinking wine. But then in the 1960s, in particular, a new generation of winemakers came in, and both of the wines that won, interestingly, were reflections of that new generation of winemakers who were not from the wine field. The maker of the wine that won in Paris was an ex-college professor, and the owner of the wine that won in the white competition was a former Los Angeles lawyer, and the wine actually was made by a Yugoslav or Croatian immigrant. So they were just very different people, and they reflected this kind of comeback. There is a passion in people that make wine, and all of the people that came to California in that period shared that passion. And they had a passion for not just making wine, they wanted to make great wine. Their models of perfection were the great French wines. And there's one great scene in the book where at the Hansel winery, they used to drink these great wines and then they would put them up on the shelf. And in the bottling room at Hansel, even to this day, you can look up at the shelf and you'll see a 1955 vintage of, of these great wines in that case from Burgundy, since they specialize in Burgundy wines. Well, the book is coming out now 30 years after the event, I like to say, because I'm a very slow writer. Actually, the reason was it was only about the time of the 20th anniversary. I was invited to a celebration of the 20th anniversary nearly 10 years ago. And it was at that time that I realized that this had been really a turning point in the history of wine. It had always been an interesting thing for me, since I was the only journalist who was there that day. And so I followed it, and as its reputation became stronger and stronger. But it was only then that I saw, and I felt that somebody had to tell the whole story. A lot of myths and folklore was growing up around the tasting, both from the French side and from the American side. And I thought it was some time for somebody to sit down and tell a record for history. And it sounds a little pompous maybe, but I really felt I was writing for history in doing this book. Since I was there, I could write the definitive story.